The single biggest reason why your e-commerce emails don't generate more revenue is bad email structure and copy. And I kid you not, fixing and understanding how to properly structure and write your emails can make you more money, a lot more of it. So recently I studied over 1,000 e-commerce emails, and most of them make the same simple mistakes: lose people's attention, make products harder to understand, give customers fewer reasons to click, and as a result of that, leave a lot of revenue on the table. So today I'm going to take 3 real e-commerce emails and fix the structure and copy using some of the principles and strategies we use when working with 8- and 9-figure e-commerce brands. And these are the things that you can actually implement in your own emails as well. All right, so before I rewrite and restructure those emails, I wanted to give you some quick context. So one of the biggest problems I see with e-commerce emails is that they are not structured around the way people actually consume them. Most people are not carefully reading every word, they're scanning. They open the email, look at the first screen, and almost immediately ask, what is this about? Is this relevant to me? And is there a reason to keep going? And this happens fast. So the beginning of the email needs to make the message as easy to understand as possible, because getting the open is only first step. Now you still need to get the click. And for a promotional e-commerce email, that means making the journey toward the click as easy and logical as possible. So instead of thinking about an email as a collection of random blocks, hero image, product section, reviews, button, think about it as a sequence. Every section has a job, and every section should move the customer closer to the next step. And you can see this clearly in the first email. All right, so this first email is from a brand called Pupford, and they are selling treats for dogs. And the first thing I would change about this email is the subject line, because right now it's dog mom celebration equals 20% off everything. Whenever you're writing a subject line, you always want to make sure that you're leading with the benefit. And in this case, it's 20% off. So I would rewrite the subject line and I would say something like 20% off everything for Dog Mom Day, or dog moms get 20% off. But you want to make sure that you're leading with the big benefit and why the person or the reader should open your email. That's very important. Especially if you have longer subject lines, you need to keep in mind that only 38 to 40 characters will be visible to readers. And other than that, they have to open the email and then they see the full subject line. So you want to make sure that they see the benefit right away, which is 20% off. Now, the next thing I would change about this email would be the header section, because you need to think about it. Someone sees this subject line, dog mom celebration equals 20% off everything. You need to reinforce what they've read in your subject line. But when they open your email, it's showing this and it says 5 reasons you and your pup will love training treats. Makes no sense, right? So if someone is reading your subject line and you're not reinforcing what you've said in the subject line in the header image, then they think it doesn't make sense and it will create confusion for them. And if you confuse someone, you lose. So what will happen is they will just drop off. And this is why this section here, 20% off with dog mom 20, should move up. So this should be the header image. This here could then be afterwards. So you have the header image with the CTA above the fold. You see dog and also mom, so that makes sense. And then you see also the big benefit, which is 20% off, and you have the discount code here as well. That should move up and you will get a lot more clicks. It will reinforce your subject line and people will actually understand, okay, the subject line was this, and yeah, the email is also talking about it. Because otherwise, if you just have this dissonance between your subject line and the header image, and people will just drop off because it confuses them. And then when it comes to this header image here, I would move all of this section here to the right and move the mom with the dog to the left. Because what we also know is that over 90% of people are right-handed. That means whenever you have CTAs, when you have buttons, they should either be centered or they should be on the right side, because everyone is clicking with their thumbs. And if the button is too much to the left, you create friction and you will get less clicks. So you need to optimize for that by moving this right section here to the left and this left section here to the right. And then you will get a lot more clicks. It will reinforce the subject line and people would know what they will get, which is 20% off. And they also have the code and the CTA, so that they can just click, apply your discount code and get 20% off. Now, the next thing we can improve in this email is make sure that this cross-sell section here is better, because right now it's just like, here's it, buy it or leave. And what you need to do is whenever you have something like this, if they already understand what it is, you don't have to add some description to it. But in most cases, you should do is there should be like 1 sentence of description of what it is and how it helps your dog or what the benefit of the product is. And here right now, it's just like, here are the 3, buy one of them. And then what I would also add is I would add a headline. So I would say something like, our bestsellers, dogs love these treats, something like that. Because when you have our bestsellers, you're making the buying decision for your customers a lot easier. You have too many products, so they're overwhelmed. They don't know what to buy and whatnot. But if you're telling them, here are our bestsellers, it makes the buying decision a lot easier, because they don't have to compare all of your products. They will only compare these 4 products with each other and then pick one or 2 of them. Or dogs love these treats, add some social proof, and they will also know that these are basically your best-selling treats, and they will pick 1 or 2 of them and buy them from your brand. Now, other than that, the section here is good with the Pupford promise, and they have some authority here at the end of the email as well. But these would be some of the things that I would change about this email. And I could guarantee you, if we change these things about this email, it would easily generate an additional 15, 20, 25% revenue guaranteed. But other than that, this section is cool. It's very educational. What I would also probably do is here, I'm very, very autistic when it comes to CTA texts. When you just say shop now, you won't get as many clicks as if you would say save 20% now. Or if you would say get 20% off. Or you could say claim your 20% discount. Or what people also like to click on is redeem your 20% discount. So I would choose one of these, not only here, but also here, and you would see a lot more clicks. And if you get a lot more clicks, you will get a lot more people to browse on your website and buy products from you. Because what we also know is that the highest converting traffic that you get to your website is from email. You have a 6 to 10% conversion rate from email traffic in comparison to every other channel that's a lot higher. So I would also change up the CTA text to one of these 4 here. If this video was interesting so far and you want me to rewrite and restructure your emails and feedback them, then click the first link in the description and book your free audit. In this free audit, I'll have a look at your emails and tell you the top 5 things that you could improve in order to increase your email performance and make more money from email marketing. So if that's interesting to you, click the first link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. The second email we want to improve is from a brand called Aura, and they're selling a bunch of different supplements. What I really like about this email is that they are leading with the benefit, which is 20% off, and that they're reinforcing what they've said in the subject line in their head image right above the fold, because they're saying the aftermath sale 20% off. So 20% and also here 20%. That's really good. Then the headline says the holiday your gut didn't get. What? Who understands what they mean? What holiday? Why didn't my gut get one? These are things that people will think, and again, it will confuse them. And if you confuse them, they will just leave. And so I would rewrite the headline and make sure that basically this here is a claim, gets reinforced in the header image. And then here I could be a bit more, in the headline I could be more descriptive and talk about what it is all about, right? So one option could be 20% of your daily gut routine. That could be one headline, and it would reinforce what was said in the subject line and also here in this bar. And then here that's good, but again, I would change up the CTA text to increase clicks, and I would say something like get 20% off. Or I would say redeem your 20% discount, or again, one of the best ones is save 20% now. And then what I would do, I would not say use code recover20 offer ends. I would say something like, again, to increase conversions, I would say 20% code will be applied, something like that. I would add that in here because you don't want to create more friction. You want to make it as easy as possible for readers to actually place an order. And if the discount code is already applied by using a dynamic link that you can build, then you're making it easier for them to buy. And especially based on your target audience, you should have that in mind. If your target audience is 20, 25, 30, 35, they can easily do that. But if they're 50, 55, 60, you should definitely use more dynamic links where you are applying the discount code automatically and making it easier for customers to buy. Now, what I would also add is I would add another CTA right here. And the reason that I would do that is because someone may not be ready to click from the hero, but may be ready after reading this short explanation here. So I'll put the CTA where desire is created, not only where the template happens to have some space. And then I would say something like get 20% off now as CTA text. And you always want to make sure that you're using different CTA texts. Some people like to click on get 20% off. Some people love to redeem their discounts. Some people love to click on save 20% now, these sort of things. And I would always make sure that if you have shorter CTA text to add now, because it will increase urgency. The biggest issue I see in this email is that the copy is trying too hard to sound clever, sophisticated, or scientific. The customer always has to translate the copy before they understand. Because what does reset and reboot your gut with high potency pre-plus probiotics mean? Who understands what they mean? I don't even think they know what they're saying. Reset and reboot, you know that from your computer, but you don't know that about your gut. Then the description of the product is 52 billion CFU and 11 acid-resistant strains guaranteed through the end of shelf life, not just the day it's made. Built to help your gut bounce back fast. That doesn't mean anything. It's just like gibberish that just sounds clever and fancy, but it has no meaning. The customer has always to translate these things and to copy before they understand why the product even matters. What they should do is the benefit should come first. So they need to lead with the benefit, and it should be very easy to understand and very clear so everyone can understand it. Easy. So they should start with the benefit, then explain the product, then they could use technical information for proof purposes. But the customer should not have to decode what you mean. You can still have some personality and brand voice, but clarity always comes first. Because if they don't understand what your product does for them, they won't buy it. But if they do and they have the problem, then they will actually buy from you. So I would rewrite the copy and I would say something like daily support for better digestion. That's something that everyone understands. And then here also nobody understands this. What I would probably say is something like a daily probiotic. Maybe you want to add the pre-plus probiotic. A daily probiotic formula designed to support balanced gut and healthy digestion. I'll probably say something like that to make it easy and simple to understand, and so everyone understands what they will get when they buy this probiotic. Now, look at the difference. And do you understand this, which just sounds fancy and clever, or do you understand this? And then what I would also do is, again, CTA text should be changed, and I would say something like save 20% now. And then I would do that with all the other products that they have in this email as well. Because remind your body vegetables exist with organic greens powder. What? 1 scoop, 3 servings of organic greens for the long weekend where the only green you saw was a pickle. This copy is horrible. Doesn't mean anything. And so this also needs to be rewritten because otherwise it won't convert. Who would click on this? Nobody understands it. And this is why nobody would click it. Nobody sees the benefit. And if they don't see the benefit, why should they do what you told them to do? They won't. So change this up. Here also help your digestive system catch up with full spectrum digestive enzymes. Doesn't mean anything. Needs also to be rewritten also, and then always change up the CTA text. So here all of these sections need to be rewritten in order for this email to get more clicks, because only when people understand the benefit, then they will do what you tell them to do. But if they don't understand it and it just sounds clever, then nobody will really buy from you. They need to understand it. That's very important, and that's not what's currently happening in this email. This section here at the end is cool, especially in like discount emails or promotional emails. I would not have any other CTAs. I would remove them, this section here as well, because they just distract people, and then people will maybe click on FAQ or take our course, but they will not click here where they can just buy from your brand. That's what I would change about this email. But as I said, this section here, these product sections need to be completely rewritten and should be a lot easier to understand. The third email we want to improve is from a brand called Seranova. They're selling a lot of different skincare products in order to make women feel a lot younger. And they've sent me this email here, and I want to show you what you can improve in this email. So first of all, a note on safety, lovely. Well, they could have just used my first name here because they have it. So they should not say lovely. They should just say my name, which is Idris, because then they would increase the open rate of the email. The cool thing about them is they have a picture. They're also certified. So they will actually stand out in inboxes and will get a lot more attention. A lot more people will open the email. Now, other than that, it's really good that they have a plain text email because it looks very personal and insanely high email durability, and mostly goes to the inbox of your subscribers and customers. Then they start with quick note on the question most women ask first. Is it safe to do at home? So they're basically handling an objection that their customers have, which is it safe to use Seranova at home? They're selling a micro infusion system, so micro needles that you can put on your skin and inject yourself collagen. What I would probably improve about this email are a few things. So one of the things that I would do is, so basically they have, here's the objection, and then they come and tackle that with a lot of proof, which is proved by Dermatest, Germany's leading independent safety testing institute. So to weaken this objection, it was well tolerated. The system was tested with real participants, and then they go into more benefits of it. Sterile and single use, thinner than a human hair, no pain, tingling sensation. So no pain is probably also another objection that they're handling with that. No downtime, so probably another one. So they reduce the effort on the side of the reader. So they don't want a redness, they say no redness, and no recovery period to plan around. So they have this objection here, and they're handling a bunch more of the objections their customers have with this personal email here. And then they have social proof here. It's the same reason 500,000 women feel comfortable bringing this routine home. If safety has been your hesitation, so they're going back to the safety question and objection. I hope this put it to rest. Great email. And now what can we improve? It seems like we cannot improve a lot, but we actually can, because there are a few things that could be improved in this email. One of the things is what we've learned from our clients is a designed email, a plain text email should also have a CTA above the fold, because the more friction someone has and the more they have to scroll, the less clicks you will get. So you want to add a CTA right at the top somewhere. In this case here, what I would do is I would just link this name here, send people to the website. So here, I would just double click, put a link to Seranova, to the product page or to the collection page, and then make sure that's bold, just like here. So they will get more clicks. I will also show you now a case where I've done it just recently, and you can see it for yourself by how much more percent click-through rate has increased and how much more revenue we have generated that client. So I've done it for this client here. The email has generated him over 8,000 euros. You see nearly 2% click-through rate on that email. And now if I click here on A/B test results, you can see the big difference in click-through rate, 1.24% and 2.74%. You can even see I say, or I've written here 1 CTA and 2 CTAs. So this here has even doubled the click-through rate when we had 2 CTAs than when we just had 1. And you can just imagine that we've probably generated, I would say 60, 70, 75% of the revenue from this second email here with 2 CTAs, and only 20, 30, 35% of revenue from this first email. Then what I would also do is I would add a finger and test it against this here. I know this sounds silly, I understand that, but we've tested it a few times and we've really seen how this has increased performance. So I would probably add that because this makes the CTA stand out a lot more. Then again, I would change the CTA text because learn more about the routine doesn't mean anything. What I've seen on their website is they have a 90-day money back guarantee. So I would definitely use that. And what I would do is I would say, try Seranova. So I would first go into the copy of the email because we know that they have a 90-day money back guarantee, and because we know that the desired situation of these customers is they want to look younger and they want the skin to be rejuvenated. We want to say something like, if you want to look 10 years younger, then you can safely test Seranova for 90 days risk-free. So you either look 10 years younger, just over exaggerating, or you get your money back. There is no risk on your side. There is basically no risk on your side. So that would be the copy that I would probably insert here. And then I would say, and then the CTA text that I want to add would also make more sense. And I would say, try Seranova risk-free for 90 days. So that would be the new CTA text. That's how I would probably write this email and improve it. Because once you have this, they understand, okay, I either get my desired situation, which is looking 10 years younger, or I get my money back. And then your CTA is reinforcing the guarantee by saying, try Seranova risk-free for 90 days. That's what I would probably do. And then you would also see that campaign revenue would probably increase by 10, 20, 25% easily. Just by making these small fixes and testing things like this finger here and adding a CTA above the fold and things of that nature. And the last thing that I would add is probably a section like this here, because I know they have a few doctors that are endorsing their brand. And so whenever I would write an email, I would add an image like this here. So it's not you as the brand who's saying it, but a doctor, which adds a lot more trust and credibility to what you're saying. I would add that. And then also at the end of the email, I would say, you're Beverly Hills MD, Dr. Joan Lake. So I would also add this in here and sign off with one of the doctors that is endorsing their brand. And then you will see a lot more trust, a lot more credibility, and this email would easily make 10, 15, 20% more revenue. So the biggest takeaway from this video is that good email marketing is not just about making an email look good. It is about making the message easy to understand, structuring the email in the right order, making the benefit clear, and making it as easy as possible for the customer to take the next step. If this video was interesting and you want some direct feedback on your own emails, then click the first link in the description and book your free email audit. I'll take a look at your emails and show you where you might be leaving clicks and revenue on the table. And if this video was useful and you want to see more videos from me, then subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, watch the next video on the screen. Have a good one, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.